俺を相手にするには貴様には俺の聖剣をくれてやる。天使、神に許しでも起こる。
迷える子羊を救い。
Suzuno Kamazuki, who had fallen down their apartment building stairs, comes to introduce herself to Sadao, Ishio, and Urushihara the next morning and gives them a box of udon noodles as a friendly gesture. Back in Sadao's apartment, Suzuno introduces herself to Emi and thinks that she and Sadao are in some kind of relationship because of their unreserved manner when speaking to each other, which she denies. Emi then speaks with Suzuno outside and seemingly misunderstands that Suzuno might like Sadao, a conversation that Emi finds similar to the one she had with Chiyo after the earthquake. Although Suzuno already knows who Emi is, being from Enti-Isla, unbeknownst to Emi herself, Emi then warns Suzuno not to get close to Sadao. Chiyo and Emi visit Sadao's apartment and are surprised to find Suzuno still helping Sadao and company with their domestic chores, much to Chiyo's shock. After the group settles down for lunch prepared by Suzuno and a bit of small talk, Emi offers herself to Suzuno to shop for more modern clothing. Later, as Sadao walks Chiyo home, she confesses her feelings for him while disregarding the fact that he is a demon since she already fell for him. Just then, Suzuno overhears Chiyo's confession, causing Chiyo to run away in embarrassment. Suzuno follows up by asking Sadao about his own response to being loved by people, and is visibly surprised by his sincere response. Afterward, Suzuno meets Emi at the Sasazuka station and they both inadvertently reveal their misunderstood intentions towards Sadao over the events of the past few days. As Suzuno introduces herself as a resident of Enti-Isla, Crestia Bell, first interrogator of the Reformation, although Emi cuts her off and takes her to a cafe to exchange information. Here, Suzuno informs Emi and she was sent under orders by the Church of Enti-Isla to investigate any leads on the missing Olba Meyer, and further asks that Emi returns to Enti-Isla after defeating Satan so that she can confront the church about the cover-up regarding Olba's traitorous actions. Emi hesitates to trust Suzuno, especially since her superior's actions endangered everyone in the underground mall, just to kill Emi and Sadao. However, before leaving, Emi advises Suzuno to be careful about how she interacts with Sadao, as it could reveal her true agenda. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. What is the most OP weapon in anime? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. A new fast food joint, Kentucky Fried Chicken, boldly opens across the street from McDonald's. As a result, McDonald's starts losing customers. The manager of Kentucky, Mitsuki Sadue, pops into McDonald's to meet its manager and check out the competition. Sadao counters by having Ashiya spy on Kentucky. Suzuno waits for Emi after work at the call center and expresses a desire to visit Sadao's workplace at McDonald's. However, Rika Suzuki misunderstands the situation as a lover's quarrel developing between Suzuno and Emi over Sadao, irritating Emi. Rika, Emi, and Suzuno head to Hatagaya and find the Tanabata festival in full swing. Rika, still excited about the supposed lover's quarrel between Emi and Suzuno, proposes they stop at the newly opened Kentucky Fried Chicken to learn more about the conflict. Emi rejects Rika's idea of her and Sadao being a couple, frantically insulting him. However, Ashiya, who had been nearby during reconnaissance on Kentucky for Sadao, interrupts and introduces himself. After some chatting, Ashiya uses a metaphor to clarify the history between Emi and Sadao, resolving Rika's misunderstanding. As McDonald's loses business to Kentucky during the festival, Sadao faces a difficult decision. He ultimately decides to keep his employees busy until a more promising business opportunity arises. In the meantime, Ashiya, Emi, Suzuno, and Rika pay a visit to McDonald's. Unfortunately, Rika's first impression of Sadao leaves much to be desired, much to his annoyance. Sadao attempts different marketing schemes to attract festival goers to McDonald's, but none of them work. However, he comes up with a clever plan to incorporate the franchise into the festival. He contacts a friend to deliver bamboo plants to display in front of the restaurant and has his staff decorate them. Then, Sadao announces that festival patrons can hang wishes on the plants and receive a complimentary drink. This strategy proves successful as McDonald's becomes flooded with customers. While this is happening, Suzuno notices a strange purple aura hanging over the crowd in front of McDonald's, adding to her suspicion of Sadao. After a successful day at work, Miss Kisaki tells Sadao that he's been chosen to help the McDonald's branch at Fushimi Park with their business during a fair. Later, Urushihara suggests that they investigate the haunted house at the fair to harvest magic from people's fear. Suzuno overhears their conversation and tells Emi as a precaution. Chio invites Emi, who brings Suzuno along, to the fair out of suspicion towards Sadao and company. While Sadao works at Fushimi Park's McDonald's and impresses its manager, Chio tries to get his attention, but fails. The girls explore the rest of the fair and visit the haunted house, which proves to be too scary for them. They then move on to the reptile exhibit, where both Emi and Chio reveal their fear of reptiles. Suzuno mentions having eaten them before as a delicacy in the southern part of Entiaila. As the girls make their way home, Suzuno senses a white-winged being watching her, but it disappears when she turns to look. Ashia is still struggling with his illness, and Miki has sent boxes of Hawaiian merchandise for Sadao and his team to sell at a bazaar in the shopping district. In the present, Suzuno exposes her true nature to Chio and justifies her plan to kill Sadao. Chio becomes emotional and defends Sadao's kindness. Emi opposes Suzuno's plan and advocates for a peaceful world. This enrages Suzuno and she abruptly leaves. As Emi and Chio walk home, the masked man with the scythe suddenly attacks them. He reveals himself to be the fallen angel Mitsuki Sadue and quickly overpowers Emilia in battle. While Chio attempts to call Sadao for help, she is knocked unconscious by Suzuno. Meanwhile, Chio's mother informs Sadao that Chio never made it home. Sadao tracks Emi's location, but discovers Suzuno heading towards City Hall. Realizing that Mitsuki Sadue's identity is a forgery, Sadao rushes to City Hall to save Chio. As Sadao races against time, Olba awakens in the hospital. Ashia exits his hospital room and finds an unconscious police officer. As he investigates, Olba Meyer suddenly awakens and violently punches him into submission. Meyer learns about Sadao's residence from Ashia's insurance card. Meanwhile, Sadue begins torturing Emi sadistically at City Hall to obtain the better half, but it refuses to manifest in his presence. Satan destroys Sadue's barrier with his remaining magic just as he arrives. Suzuno strikes him with a magical mallet, but is astonished to discover that Sadao and the demons had known about her all along. Even though Sadao lacks magic, he endures Suzuno's assault and rises to save Chio from Sadue. This causes Suzuno to realize that unlike Sadao, she has forsaken her comrades. Olba visits Urushihara to re-establish their contract. As Sadue's perverted nature begins to reveal itself, Emi claims that Sadao will come to save Chio because of his instinct to protect his coworkers. Sadue mocks Emi's claim, but much to Chio and Emi's relief, Sadao does arrive. However, Sadao is easily overwhelmed by Sadue due to his lack of magic. Now, before we continue, here's a shout out to Koro Senni, who commented on our redo of Healer video and asked, "Is this a crime?" No, it is not. Now, back to the action. Olba casts a spell to enlarge the moon, boosting Sadue's magic but causing panic in the city. This panic also grants Sadao a magical boost, while Suzuno sides with him. Despite this, Sadue remains confident in his power. Eventually, Lucifer knocks out Olba and cancels the moon spell, as he had tricked Olba into creating chaos for Sadao's benefit. Finally, Sadao and Sadue engage in an epic aerial battle that destroys half of the city and ultimately ends with Sadue's defeat to Sadao's demon sword. Chio dreams that Sadao returns to Entiaila, leaving her behind and causing her great pain. The next day, when she tells Sadao about the dream, he explains that he cannot return because he has used all of his magic repairing the city after the battle with Sadue. They also learn that Sadue is trapped in the McDonald's freezer due to Sadao's magical bamboo redirecting his portal. To everyone's surprise, Sadue becomes infatuated with Mayumi Kisaki, much to her disgust. Emi spots multiple boxes delivered to Sadao's apartment, fueling her suspicions. Meanwhile, Sadao requests a shift change from Mayumi at work, leaving Chiyo worried that he may go back to Enti-Isla. However, Sadao apologizes to Chiyo and conceals his true intentions. Chiyo and Emi follow Sadao the next day to uncover his recent activities. They discovered that Sadao and Ashiya had taken extra jobs to pay for Urushihara's GPS trackers, which had saved them from Sarue. While questioning Sadao about some boxes, they return to Villa Rosa to find out that Urushihara had fallen prey to a purchasing scam, resulting in him buying useless items. Sadao and Emi go to the retailer for a refund, only to find out that Ashiya works there. Unfortunately, the manager denies the request, citing a contract signed by Urushihara. However, Emi saves the day by invoking the cooling off period. Afterward, Sadao and Urushihara mark their triumph by dining at a restaurant, while everyone else resumes their ordinary lives in the human world. In the epilogue, Sadao walks home in the rain after work. He waits at the crosswalk, where Emi comes up to him and offers a new umbrella to replace the one he had lent her. Sadao expresses his gratitude, and Emi greets him with a smile. What a great end to this fantastic anime. Go check out our other anime recaps, and don't forget to like and subscribe.